What do you think is scarier, thinking you're going crazy or someone actually trying to drive you crazy? I've been living with schizophrenia for years, but lately something has changed. My sister-in-law moved into our house, and ever since then, I keep hearing her whispering near me, as if she's trying to push me over the edge. I can't tell anymore what's real and what's not, but every time she's around, the whispers begin. When I ask her what she said, she just looks at me with concern and says, "Nothing." Before she moved in, my mind had been quiet for months. The voices had faded. I truly believed I was getting better. But once she arrived, it all started again. For months, I tried to ignore it, to tell myself it was just my imagination. But then came the first breakdown. I lay in bed, crying quietly, whispering to myself, "It's just her. I'm not losing my mind." A few weeks later, it happened again, worse this time. That's when I finally told my wife, Clara. When I told Clara about the whispers, she didn't seem shocked, just deeply worried. Not about her sister, but about me. She kept insisting that Nadia, her sister, would never do something like that. Her calm words were meant to comfort me, but instead, they made me feel even more uneasy. Every time Nadia was nearby, the whispers returned. Soft, fragmented, and deliberate. Too natural to dismiss, too haunting to ignore. I began watching her closely. The way she muttered to herself when she thought no one was looking. The way she stood in doorways, lost in thought. I noticed everything. Months passed. I took my meds, saw my psychiatrist, followed every instruction. Still, the whispers stayed. The medicine dulled my mind but didn't silence her voice. Each adjustment to my prescription gave me a spark of hope that quickly faded. Nothing changed. Nadia's whispers remained, faint but constant, like a curse I couldn't shake. I could feel Clara's eyes on me, worried, tired, unsure of what to believe. She tried to help, but the more she doubted me, the more alone I felt. At first, she thought my accusations against Nadia were just another symptom of my illness, and maybe they were. But what if they weren't? The more I talked about the whispers, the colder the air in our house felt. Conversations turned into arguments, and silence became our routine. Clara was caught in the middle, torn between her loyalty to me and her trust in her sister. The tension between us grew like a crack in glass, spreading a little more each day. Then one evening, everything snapped. I was walking down the hallway when I heard it again. Clearer this time, unmistakably, her voice. A faint, sinister whisper. So soft it felt intentional. My heart started pounding as I turned the corner into the kitchen. There she was, Nadia, standing by the counter, holding a glass of water, pretending not to notice me. Something inside me broke. I couldn't take it anymore. I yelled at her, told her to stop pretending and admit what she'd been doing. I demanded to know why. Why was she whispering? What did she want from me? Her eyes widened in shock. She started crying, loud, dramatic sobs, and ran out of the house before I could say another word. I knew she'd call Clara. She always did. The thought made my chest tighten. I could already imagine Clara's anger when she found out. By the time Clara came home, my pulse was racing. Nadia wasn't back yet, but I could feel her lies already spreading like smoke. Clara looked exhausted. She told me she was trying to understand, but everything felt like it was falling apart. I tried to explain what had happened, but she stopped me. She said she didn't want to lose us over something that might be my illness talking. Behind her, Nadia stood quietly, crying again, nodding along as if she were the victim. I couldn't believe how far she was taking this act. I decided not to argue that night. I knew if I spoke again, my anger would drown out my words and Clara wouldn't really hear me. So I stayed quiet and waited until the next morning, when my head was clearer. I thought maybe then, she would finally listen. Over breakfast, I tried to explain everything again, how the whispers weren't just in my head, how they always started when Nadia was around. Clara listened carefully, but I could see the doubt in her eyes. When I finished, she took a deep breath and said she thought I needed more help, something beyond what she could give. The idea of being admitted to a psychiatric hospital hit me hard. It felt like a punishment, not help, like she was giving up on me. I told her I didn't want to go, but that only led to another fight. Louder this time, sharper, full of frustration from both sides. When the shouting stopped, I realized how far apart we'd grown. I didn't want to lose her, but I couldn't let this go either. So I came up with a plan, a way to make her see what I saw. If Clara noticed Nadia's strange behavior herself, she'd finally understand why I was so afraid. Whenever she did something strange, I made sure Clara was nearby. I didn't say a word. I just wanted her to notice. My goal wasn't to scare Clara or spy on Nadia. I just wanted her to see what was tearing me apart. Soon, Clara started to notice it too. The muttering, the sudden pauses, the way Nadia would look around like she was being watched. I could see her certainty slipping away. For the first time in months, I felt a spark of hope. Maybe she was starting to believe me. As Clara began noticing the strange things I'd pointed out, my confidence grew. I felt like I was finally getting closer to the truth. But seeing wasn't enough. I needed proof, something undeniable, something she couldn't explain away. So I started recording Nadia on my phone, quietly, whenever she acted strange. Then one night, something happened that I'll never forget. After a long, exhausting day, I went to the bathroom to wash my face and clear my head. I set my phone on the counter, still recording without realizing it. As I sat there, I heard them again. The whispers. Soft, slow, right outside the door. My heart raced. I tried to focus, to catch the words, but they blurred together like wind through leaves. After a few minutes, the sound stopped. I got up, left the bathroom, and forgot about the recording. Later that night, unable to sleep, I played the recording. What I heard froze my blood. There was the sound of the door creaking, then her voice, clear, low, whispering my name. I replayed it again and again, my hands shaking. There was no doubt. It was Nadia. A chill ran down my spine. For months, I'd questioned my sanity, but now I knew. I wasn't imagining it. Someone was really whispering. Finally, I had proof. The evidence that could make Clara believe me, and maybe make everything right again. The next morning, I showed Clara the recording. My hands were trembling as I pressed play. At first, she just frowned, listening. Then, when the whisper came, when Nadia's voice said my name, her face went pale. For a moment, there was silence between us. Then she whispered, "This could be anyone's voice, maybe even yours." Her words hit harder than any scream. She didn't believe me. After everything, she still thought it was all in my head. I wanted to shout, to shake her, to make her understand. But before I could, Nadia walked into the room. She froze when she saw the phone in my hand. Her eyes flicked from me to Clara and back again. Clara asked her gently, "Nadia, did you ever whisper outside his room? Even once?" Nadia's lips parted, but no words came. For a few seconds, she just stood there, pale and silent. Then she nodded. My breath caught. It was true. Every doubt, every question, gone in an instant. Clara covered her mouth, stunned. "Why?" "Crying," she whispered. Nadia's voice trembled. "I didn't mean to scare him. I was just talking to myself sometimes." But he started listening. The room fell silent again. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat louder than the last. I didn't know whether to cry, scream, or laugh. I had been right all along, but it didn't feel like victory. Clara reached for my hand. "We'll get through this," she said softly. The days that followed blurred together. Doctors, questions, medication. They said I needed rest. I didn't argue. I tell myself they're just echoes, memories bouncing around inside my mind. But deep down, I'm not sure. Because sometimes, when I listen closely enough, I can still hear Nadia. And she's still whispering my name.